Hi! In the midst of all the Halloween, you've been seeing a lot of pink this month because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I decided to honor it by creating a handmade pretty in pink card with the Alter Feminine Dress to Impress stamp set and coordinating all dressed up dies. Once I got started, I just couldn't stop and created 3 handmade pretty in pink cards with the Dress to Impress stamp set and all dressed up dies. I'm Shelley Godby, the owner and CEO of Stamping Smiles, and for 19 years I've been teaching others how to create their own hand stamped smiles. So I'm going to demonstrate one of them for you, but be sure to stick around to the end because I'm going to show you the other 2 as well. Here's a closer view of the Dress to Impress stamp set and the coordinating all dressed up dies. There are so many dies, it takes 2 sheets. You can make an adorable purse with this, but today I'm going to demonstrate for you a feminine handmade card. Now, the Dress to Impress stamp set is Alter Feminine, and that's why I chose it for my Breast Cancer Awareness Month cards. Now I know breast cancer doesn't affect just women, but it is predominantly a woman's disease. And the card I'm demonstrating for you today, well, it's not just for breast cancer awareness at all. It's just something I wanted to do my part by putting a little bit of focus on it. You'll be able to use that card and the other 2 I'll show you at the end for other occasions. Absolutely. So let me set these aside because we need to stamp. So what I have here is some Whisper White cardstock. Now, whenever you're stamping on white or cream cardstock, you want to use Whisper White and Very Vanilla cardstock. They're both designed for rubber stamping. They have a smooth, tight finish that give you crisp, clean images. And so we'll be using the Tuxedo Black Memento ink pad because I'll be coloring with the Stampin Blends. And this is a photopolymer stamp set, so there's clear rubber. So here's a tip for you. If you ever have one of the clear rubber stamp sets that you're not getting the image that you hope for, either put below it, this is the retired Stampin' Pierce mat, or your mouse pad. That will work. So let's go ahead and open this up. And I'm going to use the perfume bottle. I just love this. Looks like some perfume I have. Here we go. So we got that good and inked up, and we'll come over here and stamp. I just want to press everywhere because I want a good image. And there we go. Wonderful. So now I need to grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I have my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, so now we need to build our sandwich to make it thick enough so we can die cut the thin metal die. All right, so we start with plate number 1, and then we add plate number 2, and if you don't remember this, it's all printed on here. All right, and then next I could use plate number 3, and when you purchase a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you get plate number 1, plate number 2, 2 of the number 3, and a number 4, the specialty plate for the 3D embossing folders. But instead, I'm going to use plate number 5, the magnetic cutting plate. And I just love this thing. It's a full sheet of magnet. The whole thing is magnetized, unlike the other where we had to chase around the magnets. Well, I did notice that mine had warped some. All right, so there's a bit of a warp in there, but I just bend it before I use it. It's very bendable, and I am still absolutely loving it. Stampin' Up's aware of that, but and looking into it. But for me, it hasn't been a problem. Just thrilled with it. Just that little bend, and I'm in good shape. And I thought it happened because when I first started with it, I just kept going in the center. I did a lot of die cutting that month because it was for my thank you cards. And I realized when I saw that, I thought, well, Shelley, you know better than that. You're supposed to move around. So anyway, it's working fine for me. And so let's take our coordinating die and that raised edge. That goes down. And so now we want to center it around the perfume bottle. And what I love about the Stampin' Up! Dies, they fit up to the image. So I'm looking good there and there. I hope I'm looking good here. I can't see on this side. I can't see through, but it's looking pretty doggone good. And I have to say, since the magnetic cutting plate, I'm becoming such a better die cutter. Oh my goodness, I'm doing a lot better. It used to take sometimes several times. I tend to get it right the first time, which is saving me cardstock, but more important, my time. All right, so we crank that through and we'll see how I did. Because I'm one to stand up and hover right over so I can see everything. Let's see. Oh my goodness. See what I'm talking about? I'm becoming such a better die cutter. So we're not done. Let me push this back through. And it would work from both ways. I just have this thing. I just want to work from left to right. And so now what I have here, isn't this pretty? It looks like marble from the Peony Garden Designer Series paper. 15% off through October 31st in my online store. And then I have the stitch shaped dies. And I use these for all three of my cards. We've got circles, ovals, and squares. Isn't that fantastic? So I want this largest oval and place this on here. And then the sandwich is the same. So we kept it all the same. Number 1, number 2. I did number 5. You could use number 3 and then need to do something to hold it in place. And then a number 3. And there we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So we have our oval. And what's so cool about these, boy, this just really sticks well. There we go. Is that stitching all around. That decorative stitching just really adds a lot. So we've got all the die cutting done. So now some coloring and just a little bit of stamping. And I chose Petal Pink Stampin Blends. Doesn't this look like a Ralph Lauren bottle? And let's just color in. I'm going to use the light just to give that hint of color. And I have a bottle that looks like this, so just so pretty and really easy to do. Okay. And so this is one of the colors in the Peony Garden Designer Series paper that I used, and I'll be using another pattern. And again, for the October Designer Series paper sale, you'll get 15% off. This is one of the 15 packs. Some are also from the August through December mini catalog, as well as the annual 2020 to 21 catalog. All right, so we're done with that. So now let's use the dark. And here's what I did with that. I went ahead to just give it some depth. So following the line here, and this line. Oh yeah, that's really starting to make a difference. Boy, I just love these things. They're so easy to color with. They make us look good. Let's come down here. All right, and I'm going to use the other tip to color in the label. Oh, looking oh so good. And I want to add a little bit along here. Let's follow those lines. Make that a little bit bolder. That is looking really fantastic. Simple, but just looking good, doesn't it? All right. So, oh, that little bit of stamping. So I want to put, and I wanted to choose which I wanted at the top. There we go. Oh, that marble is so pretty. And back with the Tuxedo Black Memento ink pad. And then I have Hello Fabulous from the Dress to Impress stamp set. And yes, ma'am, fabulous for sure. Come up and over here. And with the photopolymer, I can see through and stamp. I just found it easier to stamp afterwards than before die cutting. Just want to make sure I press really well everywhere. Oh, fabulous. Just as it says. Okay. And I'm going to attach this with my favorite accessory ever, the one you don't see, Stampin' Dimensionals. These foam adhesive dots just really dress up a card. Okay, and so this little trick, if you take your thumbnail and press down, even with the short, look how that edge pops up, makes it really easy to get off. Good, good, good. And oh, our perfume on here. Just looking oh so lovely. So for all three of the cards, I used the Whisper White note cards in envelopes. They already come cut and scored for you. And did you know 3.5 by 5, that's the folded size, that's the smallest card you can mail without putting in a larger envelope. That's the smallest card. So it works out beautifully, and all that work is done for you. And it's the Whisper White thick cardstock, so it's a good sturdy base. And then look at this. Oh, that's another one of the patterns from the Peony Garden Designer Series paper. And how pretty it's going to be. Oh my goodness, with my perfume. And so I gave it just a little bit of color underneath with the smoky slate. So let's go ahead and right here, my Stampin' Seal. Put my finger where it's not so smooth. All right, there we go. And when everything's laying flat, inch in each corner is great. Now, this is not a very big border. I only gave it an 1/8 inch instead of a 1/4. So it only gives you a 1/16 all the way around. So you have to take your time and put it on there to make it look neat. You don't have the room as much give before it's noticeable. And then I cut that the same size. But then we have the white for the inside for your message. There we go. And look how easy this card is. I can't wait to show you the other two. And then I'll have a link to my blog post with this card and the measurements so you can duplicate it. And so, oh, look at that. The gray and that petal pink are so pretty together. But I wanted to do a little bit more and help make it feel balanced. So look, I just love this ribbon. It's petal pink too. The organdy stripe ribbon, 5/8 inch. Oh, golly, I love this stuff. And let's just cut ourselves a little piece. And then let's make the fishtails. So what you do is you fold it over. That makes it a lot easier. You'll see what I'm in just a second. Okay, and then we'll just take our scissors and trim. And there, that fishtail looks pretty cool, doesn't it? That folding over is a lot easier than cutting up, you know, trying to get it. Okay, so let's do the other side. Because I don't think I'd ever match them if I did that. Do that little trim. It looks good. I have to confess, sometimes I get confused and I cut it the wrong way and I have it going out instead of that, then I have to do a little bit more. All right, so let's go ahead and put some more Stampin' Seal on the back. And we'll fold this in half. You don't need a lot. I just need a little bit peeking out, so I didn't need to use a big amount. Let's bring it down a little bit more. And look how that adds that balance. Oh, love it. Even though it's subtle. Now let's do a little bit more on the ribbon. So when it's folded over, it'll stay. Great. And now because we have this behind it, it's no longer laying flat. And when things aren't laying flat, I then like to use one of two things, either the dimensionals, but the designer paper, because it's double-sided, it has more body than a lot of it, but still, it's not as heavy as cardstock, so I'm going to use mini glue dots instead. So you take these out, peel it back, and you see them in the light, and then you take your paper to it. If you can, you want to avoid touching it. I'm going to avoid letting it sit on that ribbon because that'll take away from its extreme stickiness, and that's what we're after. Here we go. Whoops, what happened to my other little tail? Stay folded down. There we go. And now, oh, wow. That is so feminine. And so for our finishing touch, look what I have here. Aren't these pretty? The elegant faceted gems. And so I can use a couple different things. I have the spatula part of my Take Your Pick tool. And so let's do this. I like to press down because that makes the glue stick to the gem instead of onto the clear sheet. So let's place one here. And Grandma said you always do things in odd numbers. So that'd be 1, 3, 5. I think we'll stop at 3. There we go. I'm liking that. Let's press them down and one more. Here we go. Oh, that is looking oh so good. And there we go. Our Pretty in Pink Dress to Impress card for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Now I need to show you the other two. My Pretty in Pink card with the Dress to Impress stamps that I just demonstrated for you is in the soft and pretty petal pink. Are you ready for this? The first card I designed, well, it's bold and beautiful in Magenta Madness. Isn't that fantastic? I thought, well, if it's be as bold as your lipstick, we need a bold color for that lipstick. And it just turned out so pretty. And this paper, well, it's from the Artistry Blooms Designer Series paper. Another one of the 15 that's on sale for 15% off through October 31st in my online store. And so soft and pretty, bold and beautiful. But for my second card, I went somewhere in between. Look at that with the Flirty Flamingo. Talk about ultra feminine. Oh my goodness. The tulle ribbon with the polka dots, and what's more feminine than a pink high heel shoe? Oh my goodness. And this designer series paper, you're right, it's on sale too through October 31st, the Playing with Patterns. So there we have it. My 3 pretty in pink cards for Breast Cancer Awareness Month using the Ultra Feminine Dress to Impress stamp set. If you'd like to make my pretty in pink handmade card with the Dress to Impress stamp set, all the supplies are listed below the video and available to order now in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. And because it's October Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I have to say, if you haven't had your yearly mammogram, get it scheduled today. I'm Shelly Godbee, teaching you how to create hand stamped smiles. Thanks for watching.